Hello, everybody. It's that time. I mean, what else were you expecting? Jason has finally come to Dead by Daylight, and these are my first day impressions of him. This is the full live version of him, and according to behavior, we will not be getting any balance patches for, I don't know, like 6 years or whatever, whenever they decide that they don't want to do content releases. Hey, regardless, I made a whole video about that already, so I'm not going to get too deep into it, but this is the way that we've got Jason. This is our live version of him, and thankfully, because of the play while you wait feature, I have not only gotten to play as Jason today, but I've gotten to play a bunch of games against him, so I can have a fully formed first day impression opinion of Jason and how I feel like he plays and how good he is and how he is to play against. So the TLDW version of this entire video is Jason is fun and fair. And I'm not just saying that because I love the character Jason himself or that the connection that I have to the Friday the 13th franchise. I legitimately feel like this character is fun and fair. There's a couple of minor tweaks I would make to him, a couple of add-ons that I don't really particularly care for, but other than that, I think that Jason is overall a just really good and healthy character for the game. So first, let's talk about playing as Jason, and then we'll talk about playing against him. Playing as Jason, like I said, is incredibly fun. The spear shot is so satisfying to hit. It is legitimately one of the most satisfying abilities in the game to hit. Watching survivors get flung when you hit them with the spear is so ungodly fun and interesting, and I love it. My only complaint that I have is that wherever you think the spear is going to go, it goes a little bit more to the left. Not much, not a lot, but that left-leaning aim is felt, and it will take you quite a few matches, probably about 20 to 25 or so, in order to really get the feel for Jason's spear. And I can almost guarantee you that when you go back to other projectile killers like Deathslinger or Huntress or even Trickster, that muscle memory aiming on Jason is going to feel really, really frustrating. I feel like Jason could do with a, not an add-on, but an add-on like effect where you can actually see the trajectory path of the spear, because normally I don't think that's necessary, but it's so different from other projectiles in this game in the way that it travels slightly to the left that it's either that or make it dead center of the screen. Like, you got to choose one. You have to choose one or the other, because if you aim dead center of the screen, you're going to miss, and you're going to miss a lot, and it feels really bad when you miss because you have to go get another spear. Other than that, the Omnipresent Evil is a fair transportation and teleportation ability. There were several times throughout the day where there were survivors working on a gen, and because there were no teleport points right next to the generator, I had to go a little bit further than necessary, which gave them a very decent warning that I was coming, which kind of counterbalances the fact that the Omnipresent Evil is an incredibly powerful map traversal tool. Your map presence is so strong, it's got such a low cooldown, and you get so much information within it that at first, when I first played Jason in the PTB, I felt like Jason was going to, like the Omnipresent Evil was going to be similar to Wraith's invisibility, but it's so much better than that because you get information on everything. If a survivor is hiding in a locker, you will get the red cloud, and when you come out of the Omnipresent Evil, there is a killer instinct on the locker that they are in. So you get a lot of information. If you get right on top of the survivor, you know where they're at, which helps a lot. I was very, very glad as a hard of hearing and deaf person that we have a visual cue to help us while we cannot see the survivor. I've been begging for this kind of thing for both Dracula's bat form and Spirit's phase form for so fucking long at this point, and it doesn't have to be this exact thing in both of those forms, but it would be nice to have more visual aids and visual indicators. The footsteps are also nice, and the Omnipresent Evil just feels good to use. As a player who is partially deaf, as a player who has trouble with audio cues, the Omnipresent Evil does enough visual cues to still be fair to the survivor, but also allow you as the Jason player to play. Also, if you are the survivor, you can crouch and counterplay, but I'll talk more about the counterplay in the survivor section. Outside of that, what kind of perks can you expect to use on Jason? I would definitely avoid any kind of aura reading and undetectable perks, as you can't see auras in the omnipresent evil form, and undetectable is fairly useless to you as a player because you go undetectable anyway. The omnipresent evil form is on such a short cooldown. I didn't count it, but it's like maybe 7 or 9 seconds. It's not very long. I think it's even shorter than that. It comes back very quickly. So you're going to find yourself in kind of this loop of hook, get the spear that you need. If there's no one else around you, you don't think there's anybody else you need to take care of, you immediately go in the omnipresent form and go look for somebody else. You do not need undetectable perks on Jason. You do not need anything that's going to give you stealth, because Jason has plenty of it and his stealth is very strong. Aura reading, you can't see auras in the omnipresent mode, and there's no real through the wall hit type stuff that he has, like Artist, Pyramid Head, Unknown, anything like that that would require you to really have a lot of aura reading. It's nice to have information. You could probably run Friends Till the End or Barbecue and Chill on him and just have a decent idea of where you want to go next, but the speed in the omnipresent form is so fast that it's not entirely necessary to know where to go next, because you're gonna find them like very quickly. You're going to be able to get across the map insanely quickly. So aura reading perks and undetectable can really leave. Hex perks work really well on Jason for a very similar reason that they work really well on Wraith. Because you're able to patrol the entire map consistently, you can check on your totems. And if you get a red cloud and showing that somebody's on your totem, you can come out of your omnipresent form. It'll cause them to scream and interrupt the totem cleanse. So I see hex perks being very strong on Jason. I also see in-game builds being kind of strong on Jason. I'm trying to get an in-game build to work, but I keep dog walking the survivors before we get to the in-game. And it's probably because Jason's still too new. People still haven't learned the counterplay. So I'm going to try the in-game build a little bit later on, maybe after like a week, when survivors have gotten enough idea of the counterplay to him to like not kill them all before the last gen is finished. So in-game builds can probably work well. There's an add-on that allows you to block the gates Blood Warden style if you spear a survivor. It's the exact same thing as Spring Trap's Axe in the Back blocks the exit gates for the survivor and all other survivors around them. So definitely check out in-game builds. So Hex in-game Scourge Hook builds are fine, you know, especially with Jagged Compass. You don't really got to worry too much about that. And of course, just any kind of slowdown builds. Now, when it comes to slowdown, should you use remote stuff like Pain Resonance or Surge, or should you use things that gen kick like Pop Goes the Weasel, Eruption, etc.? Personally, I don't think either is that great. Pain Resonance, of course, is always going to be good, but Surge isn't that great because you're not really downing with your M1 that often. Turn Back the Clock, one of my new favorite perks, is amazing, but you can't use it in omnipresent form, so it feels kind of awkward to have to come out of that and then turn back the clock while you're also trying to chase the person that you're coming out of, so that's kind of weird. However, the Deputy's Badge does help, but that's just an add-on slowdown. We're talking about perks in general. So in my opinion, if you're going to be running slowdowns, you want to run maybe like a Jagged Compass Pain Res combination, and then combined with that, you want to do some sort of gen blocking, DMS, Grim Embrace. Grim Embrace honestly might be one of your best bet. I think Grim Embrace probably might be one of the best slowdowns for Jason because he can get away from the hook so fast. So yeah, that's where I'm at in terms of perks. In terms of add-ons, Sauna Rock, Coffee Cup, both of his iridescents are pretty good. Deputy's Badge is pretty cool. There's a couple of them I'm not a fan of. Off the top of my head, I will tell you that Eyeball Goop is probably like one of the biggest F tier perks for him. It makes you undetectable after you grab a hook spike, but like I said, with perks, you're undetectable all the time any fucking way. You literally don't need it, and people are like, oh, but if you hook a survivor, you grab it and then you're undetectable, and it's basically like having a free perk slap. But guys, the undetectable's in the fucking kit. You don't need it. It's like running NOED on Bubba. You don't need it, guys. It's in the fucking kit. So I'm sorry. So Jake, just try to avoid those, right? You wanna go with perks that allow you. Chase perks are great for him, right? Bamboozles, Brutal Strengths, crowd control, blood favor, anything that really helps you lock down tiles in chase is going to be very, very good for you as Jason, because you're going to be getting in chase so often. Like the loop with Jason, you are in chase a lot. You should be in chase a lot. You should not ever be in a situation where there's more than 3 or more than 2 survivors alive and you're just not chasing anybody. You should almost always be either in chase or on your way to your next chase because you have that map presence. With that all said, what do I believe Jason's power level is? I would put him in the lower to mid A tier range. This is about where I had him after the PTB, and I don't think really much is done to change that opinion. His map presence and stealth are very, very strong. His chase potential is great. His spikes are really, really consistent once you learn how to aim them. So in my opinion, he's incredibly strong with great chase pressure. What stops him from being top of A and in the top 10 killers is that he does have a little bit too much counterplay, which I'll talk about in a moment, which prevents him from really overwhelming the survivors in a complete and utter blowout sense once you understand how to play against him. With that being said, let's move on to playing against Jason. In my opinion, playing against Jason is fair. So when you crouch, Jason cannot see your red cloud or your footsteps or get killer instinct when he comes out of the omnipresent mode. You'll still scream, but he won't get the killer instinct. So when the clouds are around, staying crouched is really good for you. However, do understand that staying crouched is not the same as staying still. If you're just standing still on a generator, he will still see you. So when you see those clouds around you, pay attention to the teleport points in your line of sight. Something that my chat will back me up on, something that I started doing is whenever I got on a generator, I would figure out what teleport points were near me, okay? There's a pallet over here, there's a broken pallet there, there's a window there, and then you keep an eye on those 3 points because that is the only places he can come from. And you position yourself on the gen in kind of a centralized location to make sure that whichever way he's coming from, you always have an out. You always have a direction that you can go in. That is the biggest counterplay to Jason because his omnipresent form comes up a lot. So keep an eye on those teleport points, keep an eye on what's going on, and as long as you're paying attention, you'll be able to get a pretty good pre-run on him because Jason is only 4.4. Now, when you're in chase, the things you want to watch out for mainly is his spear. Do not just start zigzagging back and forth like you would against Deathslinger or Huntress or something like that. The spear has a very slight delay between him holding right click and clicking left click. There is a long enough delay that you can learn the timing of that delay, and I recommend playing Jason to learn that timing, where you know when about he's gonna try to throw the spear. Jason's spear has a very small hitbox, so do not stand in weird gaps and just get where he can just throw the spear through that and hit you. Think about it like you're playing Deathslinger, and in fact, that's a very good comparison because of the fact that when Jason readies his spear, there is a swing sound. You will hear a swing whenever he's got it up, and you'll hear a shing whenever he throws it, right? So you kind of have both an auditory and a very clear visual warning. When Jason's getting ready to throw the spear, his arm comes all the way up. So it's a very clear indication he's about to throw it. So you want to do a combination of looking behind you and listening for that sound as best you can. Once you get over these initial ideas, the way you really want to play against Jason, like I said, is keeping an eye on his teleport points. And then when you're running from loop to loop, you can pre-run Jason. You can outrun him. But the moment you see that omnipresent fog show up when you're pre-running him, you want to stop, find a safer place, and crouch. And stay as quiet as you can because you want to stay away from him so that when he does teleport, you've got a better chance, right? So crouch and get to a safe place that is not right next to a vault or pallet, because when he teleports to those vaults and pallets, they're going to be blocked, right? So you're not going to be able to, he's not going to teleport to a window and then you're going to pull a Vecna on his ass and just teleport over the window and say, bye, bitch, and run away, right? You want to be very, very cautious with the way you're playing against him, and you want to keep an eye on his teleport points. Pay attention, pre-run when necessary, and you'll be fucking fine. I promise you, you can play against Jason. I've already seen some survivors thinking he's too strong. He's not. I just need you to pay the fuck attention, okay? Okay. So outside of that, that's my full thoughts on Jason. I really, really enjoy him. I can't wait to P100 him. I can't wait to play more of him. I absolutely love and adore him. I'm glad that I came back to play Jason. He's not a disappointment to me in the slightest. Behavior did a great job with this killer. I just wish that this chapter had a lot more to it other than the promise of a survivor in a week. But other than that, let me know what you guys think about Jason down below. As always, a great big special thank you to my channel members listed on screen now who helped me get additional support toward opening my own bookstore someday. If you want to be a part of that, get awesome perks like seeing videos early, merch discount codes, and more, then please click that join button down below. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next